Okay, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the All Portable Discussion Zone. It's a bi-weekly live stream all about amateur radio portable ops. And my name is Charlie. Call sign is November Juliet 7 Victor. With me this evening are the show's two co-hosts, Brian, W7JET, and
Evening,
we have
everybody.
Ben, KC7MSU.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have no special guest today by design. We talked about doing something just the three of us, so we could have an opportunity to just talk amongst ourselves and cover some topics that maybe we think are important. So it's just going to be the three of us tonight, doing something a little different. But we do invite any of the guests in the chat room or anybody who out there who wishes to join us, maybe later on, to let us know, and I'll send you an email so you can join. I'll send a link to you. So think about that. If you have a comment, a question, just want to hop in and say hi in the live stream a little bit later on, and just drop us a note, and I will send you an email with that link. We appreciate everybody in the chat. We're glad you're here with us and happy you're joining us. And so, of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can just also leave those in the chat feed, and we'll respond to them. Welcome to everybody. And let's first, I don't think we need to go around the horn, really, because we're just going to be talking amongst ourselves. So I think that we all had a great weekend last weekend. I know I did. So let's just see what everybody's been up to, I guess. And I went to Big Bear, and I'll talk a little bit more about that for the big Summit to Summit event. What about you guys, Brian or Dan or whoever? Just hop right in.
We went to Towers Mountain, so I've got some photos, and we'll discuss that a little bit. So Brian was operating a contest, which I'm sure he'll want to discuss as well.
Had a little bit of activity on the 222 and up contest. Just operated Saturday afternoon for the time we're in tower, so it wasn't a lengthy activation. And frankly, it's not a very popular contest here in Arizona, so it's kind of hard to pull up those contacts. But got enough to get some points and submitted a log, so we'll see what happens.
Cool. All right. Well, so yeah, Big Bear. I was invited by the SoCal group. They call themselves a SoCal group, but SoCal SOTA Fest is what it was called. It was a Summit to Summit event there in Big Bear, and so I decided to drive out there and join everybody. We had the W0C or the Colorado 14er event, which was a big success, a Summit to Summit event where we had all kinds of guys out there on top of summits, the big ones, the tall ones, the 10-pointers. We had people up in the Pacific Northwest on them, and actually pretty much all around the West, there were people on summits. I drove out to Big Bear on Friday night, and I arrived in camp around 2 o'clock, and there was a guy I just met there named Javi. He spent the evening with me BSing and hanging out and just kind of shoot the breeze, and then eventually a lot of more people showed up, and we kind of coordinated what we were going to do the following morning. And we had Adam, K6ARK was there, and Chris, N1CLC. Many other well-known hams were there. Those are the two I mentioned because they're YouTubers. And so the next morning, I went up on Bertha. It was about a Bertha Mountain. It was about a 1.5 mile hike to the top. In the morning, it wasn't too bad. I spent 3 hours up there and had about 70 contacts. And of those, about 30 were summit to summit. They weren't all unique, but that's how well I did. And I know others did more peaks. I just did the one. There was, I think, upwards of more, maybe 4 or 5 peaks in the weekend there. And then I know Adam did. He had over 100, I think, contacts, and then over 50 summit to summit. So, I was able to have a summit to summit contact with somebody from Oregon, at least. I think I had Josh. We all know him, WU7H, and Daryl, WW7D. I had Oregon. I can't quite remember who I got in Oregon. Of course, California, Arizona. I was able to get summit to summit with my friend John, KJ7IGZ, up on top of Humphreys Peak, summit to summit. That was Humphreys Peak is the tallest summit in Arizona, so that was kind of cool. And also, I think I got Montana and Idaho and New Mexico. So really, almost every state. I think the only one I was missing really was Utah and Nevada. No, I got Nevada too. So it was just Utah, I think, in the West. The only state that I didn't get a summit to summit with. So I don't know. Maybe you guys had a great experience out there on the summit too. All you guys are listening, but I just had a ball. The next morning, I got up and left early. I cleared camp before anybody else, packed up and was out of there by 6, and I went up to Keller Peak, and I arrived. It's usually a drive up, but I arrived there too early, and so the gate was shut. So I had to had to walk to the top, and I texted you guys and probably woke you up, and never did end up working. You guys, you probably couldn't hear me, I guess.
No.
Well, yeah. So, but then I got a call on the way back hiking down, and Chris N1CLC said, "Where'd you go? I feel like a jilted lover." Because I said goodbye to everybody the night before because I knew I was going to clear out early. But anyway, so that's kind of what I did last weekend. It was a great experience. I had kind of a long drive, 6 hours, but it wasn't too bad. I've driven 6 hours before, so not a big deal. All right, what about you, Brian? Tell us about your contest stuff.
So, well, it was, first of all, I think someone told us that the road to Towers was a lot better this time.
It was.
I'm not sure which road you took.
I took the good one. Apparently you didn't.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
There were definitely a few places on the road where if we didn't have a vehicle capable, we would not have been going up there. It was definitely not four-wheel drive Corolla condition.
Oh, yeah. Those of you who don't know, four-wheel drive Corolla is. Let's just sidetrack that right now because I used to own a four-wheel drive Toyota Corolla. Not really. I had a Toyota Corolla, and I took that thing in many places that nobody would ever take a four-wheel drive sometimes. And I mean, I remember going up on the top of a peak once, and when I got to the top, there was a couple of people with ATVs looking at me all strange, like, how in the hell did you get that thing up here? So Brian made the joke. He called it the four-wheel drive Corolla test. And so
yeah. If Charlie could drive that car there, it was definitely a legitimate drive up peak. But geez, man, did you sell that thing or did you junk it?
Yeah,
because whoever the heck got a hold of it afterward probably had a lot of suspension work to do.
It was actually the transmission was going out, so I traded it in for the Xterra.
Okay.
So somebody else's problem now.
So we got up on. Go ahead. No,
I was just going to say that this guy here, it says KH7FC says that a guy here in Virginia converted a Lincoln Town Car to four-wheel drive. Well, mine wasn't really converted, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Charlie's was just converted in his head. He was driving down the road and he thought he was in the Bigfoot truck from the monster truck shows back in the 90s going up the mountains, but in reality he was still in a front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla that was probably scraping every rock off the road. It was kind of like a road grader, I think, probably in some places, right? You were doing the Forest Service. Did you send them a bill?
That's right, clearing on the way, man.
So anyway, we got to Towers. The run actually wasn't too bad. Nonetheless, there were a couple much deeper ruts than I remember from the last time, and we got to the top, set up in a nice spot, had a great view, got a couple of contacts in with some of the Arizona folks. Somebody was, I think, on Hutch. And then we got the group that was up on top of Humphreys. I worked a little bit of 902. I actually used my my 902 transverter for the first time on sideband, so that was kind of cool. And a little 1.2 action and 222 sideband. I pointed my beam toward California and called CQ a bunch of times on CW on 222, but no response. And I wasn't really expecting, but you never know. Sometimes there's somebody pointing in the right direction, and we had a pretty good view from Towers out in that direction. I subjected Dan to a bunch of CW as we were driving back and forth. I had I had the single letter speed racing file from Kurt on the phone. So we were listening to single letter characters starting at 35 words a minute, going down to 20.
Nice. Oh, that's hard when they switch it up the speed, man.
Yeah, I actually got a few, man. So
yeah, he definitely got a few. Dan was doing well. Well. Then we mixed it up a little bit, played some Q code files and some abbreviation files and a couple of other things, and just rattling through. So that was a good time, and made our way back down to the valley. And all in all, it was a good activation. The only thing that didn't happen, and Dan was a conformist this day, is we had no prone CQ. It was very disappointing.
No prone CQ. That's horrible.
No prone CQ. Dan remained upright at all times.
Yes.
Oh. We need to. Where does that picture at? Did we have a picture of him prone CQ?
It's somewhere.
There's one around somewhere.
There's one somewhere.
He was in style, man.
Well, there
Yeah.
were so many visitors up there that I was afraid I'd get run down. There was easily over a dozen vehicles that came up
Are you
onto that
kidding?
mountain that day. No, I
Yeah.
was very surprised.
Yep. All the UTV folks. I just bought my Jeep Gladiator and want to rack it up as fast as I can going up the hill and hit rocks I shouldn't be hitting with it. Crowd, the normal stuff, and then the nice people too. We even actually had a tower repairman up there to fix. I think it was a generator on one of the sites.
Yeah, he was working on a generator and over there, so he was there for most of the time we were there.
Yeah, for me, this has been a killer week with SOTA. I think I've done 6 activations total this week.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. The towers, Lemon and Bigelow, and then Lake and Greens, and one other one.
So you were down in Tucson, and you were also up in the White Mountains of Arizona. Wow.
Yeah. It's that the job allows me to do that now. In fact, we actually have a company crew car in Sholo that's a Nissan Xterra, an older one, and it does just fine going up. I took it up on top of Greens, and it got me to the base of Lake, and I was able to hike up to the top of Lake. Well, and I was actually Lake was beautiful. The flowers on Lake were fantastic, and the tower is not manned right now, so it was nice. I sat on the front porch of the ranger cabin and set my antenna up there, so it was nice. I actually sat upright on the wood and had full shade, so it was cool.
Yeah, it's a nice place to operate for sure.
Yeah, it is. I enjoyed Lake a lot, and so Greens was pretty peaceful as well. It was a lot cooler on Greens.
Yeah, last time I was up on Greens, it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds, and I handed off the baton, or Dan handed the baton to me as he was heading down the mountain, being wind blown and disheveled as he had been defeated by Greens.
Yep. Just even a pic of that, I was surprised how windy it was up there that day. It was crazy.
It was, yeah. My wife still remembers it. She was sitting in the car as it was rocking back and forth as I was running through the field, or at the top there, through all the grass, trying to grab my one end of my linked dipole as it was flopping in the wind. Trying to grab it to pull it down.
That's what happened to me as well. I just operated that way. It was fluttering around. I was like, okay, that's good enough. I'll operate just like that. So,
yeah. All right, Dan, what else did you have to add to the conversation on this last weekend here?
Well, I've got a couple pics. If you want to take a quick look of towers while we were up there.
Yeah.
I
think
let's see. I guess I can share that myself, can I?
Yeah. You share it, and then I gotta. After you share it, I gotta bring it up. Yeah. Because I'm the victor. There we go. Is that good, or do you want full screen?
Let's see here. I don't know if I can do full screen or not. It doesn't look like it.
I mean, I can do that.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
that's great. So this is Towers Mountain. So it just took a couple pics up there. There's quite a few towers up there. Some of them commercial. There's Brian's FJ there. It works a lot of mountains. This is looking off the backside of the mountain, which was really nice up there. It was very green, really nice day. It was relatively cool. There I am, not in the prone operator position for a change. I used the picnic table. It was quite nice.
Yes.
There's Brian.
He's sporting this Ham Talk Live shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I actually wore that on the for the 222 contest last year, so I decided to keep the tradition up and send Neil a little love.
Cool.
There you go. So that was midway through the contest, if I remember correctly, and just another view of the FJ.
So, Dan, were you participating in the contest too, or just doing SOTA?
No, I decided to do a SOTA. It was the first SOTA I've done. I hadn't looked, but it's the first SOTA that I've done since April. So I was Friday, I woke up and I was like, tomorrow's SOTA day. So I was pretty excited on Friday. I probably had all my batteries charged by like 8:30 in the morning on Friday because I was so revved up, ready to go. I hadn't been on a mountain in so long. But it was a great drive out there, and really, really enjoyed it. Didn't make a lot of contacts. I only ended up with, let's see here, about 8 VHFs and about 10 on 40 and 3 on 20. But I did get finally a 1296 contact, so I was really happy with that.
Nice. 1.2 gigahertz, huh?
Yeah,
Microwave.
finally broke in that radio. So
cool.
It was really it was a great day up there, and it was remarkably nice up there. And I did not see any burned areas on the way up or on top of the mountain. So I'm guessing that probably the burn scars that happened up there last year and this year are probably like an extra ridge or two to the north, I think to the north and to the east of where Towers Mountain was. But it was really a great day up there. Surprised by the number of visitors. So
yeah, I enjoyed it up there. When I was up there, it was raining, but it was still pretty fun up there. Adam and I made a 1.2 gigahertz summit to summit contact. It wasn't very far, just a few miles. But an interesting thing with that one is Adam brought a bunch of attenuators, and he kept knocking down the power from 1 watt all the way down to, it was in the microwatt. It was very, very small, just hardly any power at all. And still, we're still able to make the contact. I thought it was really interesting. So that was pretty fun.
So the signal strength was really good still, no matter how much he knocked it down.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think it was in the microwatt. It was, or even lower. It had been knocked down by like 100% or something like that. Or 100 times, not 100%. I think is what it was by the time it was all said and done. It was very, very low. At that point, it was. I gave him a 5.7. It was a little bit scratchy, but still perfectly readable. Yeah. I wish I would have remembered exactly how much it was reduced by.
Yeah, I was surprised. The one contact that I got in, I mean, he said that I was booming in to him, and he was really, really loud on towers. So I was quite surprised by the signal strength on 1296.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how far KH7FC says, how far can you get on a 1.2 HT? Do you guys know? I think I had a contact over 100 miles on mine.
Oh yeah. I've done over 100 miles. It's more about the line of sight, and I guess the only thing that's really going to attenuate the signal is if there's a lot of moisture in the air. You can run into trouble with that if it's a really humid, wet day, because that will attenuate the signal. But we're running, at least the radios are 1 watt. That's a lot of power up in that band.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure exactly. I guess you got to depend. It really depends. So I'm not quite sure, but yeah, at least over 100 miles. I know I've had summit to summits from all over. So I think Lynn or Lee, whichever one says Pete, worked Tucson from one of the Flagstaff peaks. Well, that's going to be over 150 miles then, I think, isn't it, or even more?
Yeah,
that's a long haul. Yeah.
Yes, so I made some pretty far contacts on sideband using, I think, a little more than a watt with the transverter and on a multi beam. Just using the rubber duck, I know I've done at least 80 miles.
I'm gonna pull it up here, Brian. Why don't you talk about the transverters? I was going to ask if you'd talk a little bit more about those anyway, because while I'm bringing this up, I'm gonna see if I can get an exact distance for how far you can get on those HTs. So why don't you talk about the transverters? And I thought it was interesting.
Sure. So this was about 3 or 4 years ago. We started doing the January VHF contest here as like a SOTA event in Arizona. And from that, it kind of grew into, wow, this is pretty cool. I was actually, at the time, I was the cool kid. I was the only one that had the G29 900 megahertz HD. Just want to point that out there. Everybody else kind of jumped on that bandwagon after the fact. And then I got the Elinco G7, which is the one that has the 1.2 in it when we started experimenting with the 1.2. And then you start working the rovers, and the rovers are like, you got sideband, and my first foray into the the transverters was the Ukrainian guy on eBay that sells the 2 meter for 40, 70 or 70 megahertz and 222 transverters. And I bought the 222 transverter from him and started playing around with it and using it in one of the contests. And I was like, I think I want to try getting a 1.2 transverter, and I run that with the 817, and it uses 2 meters to drive it. Got that. And first time I used it was VHF contest 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago up on from my usual summit for that, which is Dromedary Peak, and that's actually about 30 miles east of me. I can see it from my roof. It's got a great view of the valley, and I had a lot of really good contacts with that on sideband. Still running with the 222 and the G29 for 900 megs, and then started saying, I got all this equipment. I think I'm going to start just making an effort to regularly participate in the VHF contests in a portable category. So I did June. Last year was the first time I did June seriously, and I ended up winning the Southwest Division, and I think I came in 3rd or 4th in the United States. Then did the 222. Was supposed to do September, but got stuck working, so I ended up not making September. I will be doing September this year because I'm not working because I don't work on the weekends anymore. Yeah. Yay me. So I'll be running 900 sideband this one as well as 1.2. In fact, this will be the first VHF contest since the 222 contest that I'll be running sideband on 9. So that'll be fun. A lot of the rovers out there have it.
So what do you use then? What radio do you use for the transverter?
So I drive it with an FT817. The 900 meg and the 1.2 need 2 meter drive. So 144 equals, at least on 1296. 144 is 1296. So you dial 144 410 and you'd be coming out on 1296 410. And on the 900 radio, 144 is 902. And then you'd be coming out on, so for 144.1 would be 902.1. And you have all modes. So whatever the radio will drive it with, AM, FM, CW, sideband, all of that will drive. It will drive the transverter with that. Then the 222 transverter uses 10 meters as the IF. So I use the 817 for that. And at 28 megahertz is 222 and 29 megahertz is 223. So if you want to run an FM, and I've actually experimented with it. I programmed in the 817 in the memory all of the 220 repeaters in the area. And I've played with 220 repeaters using the 817 and that transverter, and it works quite well. I actually had one of the first contacts I made with that transverter was I was using a 220 mag mount antenna in my shack, just stuck to the side of my workbench, and I had a simplex contact with KD8PC on 223 completely by accident. You guys know who that is. John's, KD8PC is our net control station for the local club. John's a vision impaired ham, a really nice guy, and he really likes 220. You can usually find him here locally on 223.5. And I just happened to key up the radio, tested it. He came right back to me. He was using I think a base station antenna inside of his house, and I was only running the 5 watts through the transverter. So it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. It really increases the utility of the FT817. The 2 transverters for 900 and 1.2 come from a company called SG Lab, and they're out of the Ukraine. And I think I paid about $185 for each one of them. And then the 222 transverter, another company from Ukraine, and they sell it on eBay. And if you just look them up into the transverter store, you'll find them. And those were significantly less, about $80.
Yeah. So when you compare the transverter cost to the cost of, say, each of the radios that you wanted to use, so there's efficiency in a couple ways, right?
Yeah. So the transverters, especially, I don't have one out. Maybe I'll get one out in a second just to show you size. But it's about, if you took 2 cell phones and lied them side by side, they're about the width of 2 cell phones and about a thickness and a half of the cell phones, and they weigh next to nothing. They're less than 16 ounces, so less than a pound each one. And you can use a little PC board beam antenna on it. In fact, they include the PC board beam when you buy them, so you'll get one for the 900. You get one for the 1.2, and it straps right to the side. So again, it's still less weight, and you can actually drive these also with an HT. So if you want to take an HT, knock it all the way down to 1 watt so you don't blow it apart, because they do have attenuators in them, but they have an input power limitation, at least the two SG Lab ones. You can run FM on them as well. So if you wanted to do simplex FM, you can do it with your HT. You don't even have to have the 817 to do it.
Are they all 1 watt drive max?
No, I have to look at the paperwork. In fact, I think I might even have the documentation handy, but if I remember correctly, I think it's like 2.5 watts for both of them. Gives you the max power out on either one, which is I think 2 watts. The 222 transmitter is actually capable of transmitting at 10, but I don't want to drive it that much, so I only run I think 1.5 watts into it, so I get about 5 watts out of it. And I've actually, with the 222 one, surprisingly, I've gotten very good reports on it, and it works a lot better than I thought it was going to for an $80 transverter.
Yeah, so you could not, I mean, instead of buying each of those different radios, you end up paying less money. You also end up having a smaller footprint. Any other advantages?
Well, you can get creative with it. So one of the things that I'm trying to do for the contest now is I'm going to build a box to have all the transverters in one of those plastic ammo cans with a coax switch, so I can just switch between each one of them depending upon which band I want to go to. Because usually when you're running on those, you're talking to somebody who's got, hey, you're working a contest, you're on 6 meters. What other bands you got? I got 6 through 1296. Great. Can you do all modes? Yep. And I just, you just flip through each one. So you're starting on 6, go from 6 to 2 meters to 220 to 440 to 902 to 1296. So you can flip right through all of them. You're able to do all modes. They're lighter. The receivers are actually better than and the filtering in them, surprisingly, is better than what you have in the HT. So they don't seem to get as wiped out by local RF interference. And you can use the same battery you're using to drive the 817 with. So I have a splitter that I made that I can have a power wire going to each one. When I'm using sideband, I have a keying cable that'll also splits off to all of them. So all I have to do is just switch to which transverter I'm driving, and I'm on the right frequency for the two the higher frequency or the microwave level transverters. I use the front connector on the 817 for those, and then the back connector is for 6 meters in the 220 transverter, because that 220 transverter also has a splitter in it. So when you're running 6 meters, it'll bypass the transverter and it goes out a separate port on the back, so I can connect the 6 meter antenna to that one. So it's been a work in progress, me trying to get this station more and more efficient for the contests on the mountains, because otherwise it gets really confusing. You got to figure out which cable's not connected to connect to the right transverter, and then connect the right keying cable to the right transverter, and all that going on.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question they have for you, Brian, is could I use the FT857 to drive them?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can. Any radio that's capable of transmitting on 144 megahertz would drive any of those transverters. You just have to watch the power output, because obviously with the 857, there's a lot more power available on 2 meters and 440, and most of the transverters do have an attenuator built in, but there's a limit to how much power that you can drive them with. Consider them like an amplifier. You don't drive, if an amplifier is 5 watts in, 100 watts out, you don't drive it with 25 watts, because you're gonna blow it apart. It's gonna be a bad day. So you have to make sure the power is way down.
And then Dan, what do you think about this one? Scout 75 asks. I have my thoughts too, but how do you find out about others in your area who'd be using those frequencies? Sounds like something I'd be interested in, or find interesting, but not if I can't talk to anyone.
Hey Charlie, I'm gonna step away for 1 second and get the boxes. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about that?
In Arizona, we've got a grouping of, kind of standardized frequencies, that everybody kind of operates on. But also during the contests, I would imagine that you'll see some posts. Otherwise, you'll have to kind of twist the VFO a few times to try and find them. I haven't actually operated in a VHF contest. And I've always wanted to try and be a rover at some point. So, but there's actually quite a few folks that participate that way in Arizona for some of the bigger VHF contests. But what did you think, Charlie?
Well, I think that, I mean, it depends on the band. Of course, 2 meters, 440, and even 220 to a certain extent. You'll probably find a few people in your area, but when you get the 1.2 gigahertz and the 900, you're not probably going to find many people on unless it's during a contest and there's people out specifically looking for those contacts on those bands. Now, here in Arizona, it's a little bit different because we have just kind of I guess starting with Brian, I think we're up to probably 20, 25 people now who have those Elenkos that can do 1.2 gigahertz, and we've just kind of decided that we'd like to try and hit people when we're up on a summit. We'll take that with us and just see how it goes and experiment. And so, 1.2 gigahertz is unique here in Arizona. They're starting to get something going in California like that, but I think you just kind of have to gather the masses and just kind of find people who'd be interested in joining that with you. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's more about just there's a podcast I listen to out of Australia, and they always sign it with "get on the air and make some noise," and that's pretty much what it comes down to. Get on the air, make the noise, and by getting on the air, if there's a local message group, or if you guys have a group's IO or some kind of Slack channel set up, start putting out there that you're interested in getting it. There's somebody out there that needs another radio, an excuse to buy another radio. I think there's probably everybody in this room right now always has an excuse that they can buy another radio.
Oh yeah.
And if there's a good enough excuse, they'll go out and seek one out. Originally, for me, I'm not buying a 1.2 radio unless I find one on sale. And somebody apparently heard me and listed one on QRZ that day for $150. And now after I said I wasn't buying another one, I had a 1.2 radio on the way. So, those things seem to pop up just at the right time. I don't. Are they still making the 1.2 radio new, or are they
Yeah.
not available new anymore?
Not the 900, but the 1.2 they do.
The 1.2 is okay. So here's the 220 transverter. This side is the business end. There's an antenna port and the IF port, and then these extra ports are for testing and reference stuff, because I think people use these for lots of other things. You have the power port, and you have the keying cable, and then there's two LEDs on here. One, they're multicolored. One tells you if the SWR is okay, and one tells you if the power out or the power coming in is too much or too little. And if they light up green or yellow, you're fine. If you start seeing red, it's usually because the power is too low. I think yellow, I have to look at the book, but basically as long as you see green or yellow, it's fine as far as the SWR goes. And these are the antennas they come with. So if you don't want to have, if you don't want to carry a full beam with you, you want something lightweight. This is the 1.2 for size comparison. This is my Galaxy cell phone, and this is the 1.2 antenna. And then this is the 900 antenna, which is basically the size of my Galaxy cell phone. And there's the transverter, thickness for the cell phone and height for the cell phone. So it's a little wider than the cell phone. And then you've got, this is the 222 transverter. They also sell one for 2 meters, and they sell one for 440. And for the folks across the pond, they also sell a 70 megahertz one. And I think they do a 6 meter one also. But most radios, at least in the SOTA group, have a 6 meter capability. I think the KX2 doesn't, right? Does the KX2 have 6? I can't remember if it does or not.
One of them does.
Yeah, I know the 3 does.
The 3 does.
I can't remember. The 2 doesn't. No.
So for someone with like a KX2, this would be a inexpensive alternative to get 6 meters on that radio. Would be one of those transverters. And again, same thing on the back. You've got the power connection. You've got the keying cable for sideband so that it drives properly, and then the 3 ports. You got one for the antenna, one for the bypass, and then one for the IF. And these happen to be BNC. On this one, they're SMA connectors.
Okay, cool. All right, let's see. I have a couple more things. Are we good with inverters then, or anything else to add there? Sounds like it's all right there. If you guys have questions in chat, just let us know. I think maybe Brian might have wanted to talk about this too. I guess we'll see when I bring this up. But What the heck?
Interesting.
That's interesting.
There you go.
What the heck?
Uh-oh.
There we go.
I see the ghost of CW Ops there. What's going on there? Is CW Ops taking over?
Yeah. Are we there yet? All right, that's better, isn't it?
It was a little flashy there.
It was. Yeah. All right. So thanks, KH7 Roving Radio, for your comment there. I have signed up for the CW Academy, and some other people have that I know. And Brian mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned or not, but Brian and I are both going to be taking the intermediate course coming up in about 3 weeks. And so for the CW Academy, you have a beginner and a intermediate and let me see if I can find. So if you click here, then it talks about how to get involved in there. There they are. You've got a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I probably fall somewhere between intermediate and advanced. I think Brian is definitely an advanced. I don't know why he's taking the intermediate with me, but it's probably because he's been practicing a lot with Kirk's stuff, the Morse Code Ninja. But I wanted to mention this because I have, if I can bring up this here, but doesn't, if I can get over here to my profile, right here, I talk about the CW Academy coming up. And what I plan on doing on TikTok is kind of documenting my experience with going through this class. So I'm gonna everything that I every week or maybe even a couple times a week, I'll be putting up on TikTok my experience with the CW Academy and how it's been going and what I've been doing and how I've been practicing. So there's that, and so I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. And then also, I have coming out here in just this week or later in this week, probably a couple of days, the series introduction to portable Morse code paddles. Once a week, or not once a week, once every couple of weeks, probably, I'm going to do a review on a different portable Morse code paddle. I'm going to start with the Radio Gear Adventure one right here. All these right here I own right now, plus I have several more on the way, and I've field tested all of these, and so I'll be doing a relatively in-depth discussion on each one of these paddles, plus more as they come in every couple of weeks on a series that I'm doing on my channel. So just thought I'd mention that as well. So all right, guys, what about are you guys, Dan? Are you going to do the class as well?
I am not. I took the beginner class and I really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend the CW Academy classes. I need to just sit down and keep working at my CW skills and get out there on a mountain as soon as possible and actually at least try some chasing first. So actually, we got the Arizona QSO party coming up, and the goal is for Dan to actually make some CW QSOs during that event. So need to keep working at it.
That's good because Charlie and I are going to need breaks. And it'd be nice to have a second CW station going, so at least we have some competition, because most of the time we're just competing against each other.
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of head scratching out there for me, I'm sure, but we'll give it a whirl.
Like, just remember what again sounds like on the radio, because like Charlie and I will both tell you, we heard that an awful lot when we first started because nobody had any idea what the heck we were trying to say. Again, question mark. Again, question mark.
Yep. I had to figure out how to send AGN. I just sent question mark. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Question here: are you only posting that to TikTok? Yes, I am only posting that to TikTok right now. I mean, I'm open to ideas, but it's just because it's going to be easy and quick. TikTok's so easy to do. So at this point, I'm just going to do the CW Ops journey on TikTok. So.
Charlie, you're not going to write that stuff down, because I mean, written is much better than all this extra content here.
Yeah. Okay, so one more thing I did want to mention here is let me see if I can share my screen again and see if it'll start fluttering again. There we go. Let me see if I can get up here to the top. NA6MG from California. Most of you guys have probably worked him if you've done SOTA at all. 6-time mountain goat. I just wanted to congratulate him. We don't
Wow.
always have an opportunity to congratulate everybody anymore, but certainly that one is noteworthy. First guy in California to reach 6,000 activator points, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
of course,
congratulations. That's amazing.
yeah. And so with that, what else do we have, guys, before we open it up to guests? Anything?
I had done an experiment with my Alinco G7 that I found kind of interesting. So I kind of did a follow-up video that I still need to post. So Adam K6ARK did a video on his G7 where he noticed that the battery was draining.
Mm-hmm.
And so he measured the standby current on the radio and found that he had, I believe it was about 40 milliamps of standby current, and it would drain his battery, is what would happen. So I thought, well, I'm going to check mine and see what I got. And by George, I got the same kind of thing, except I was a little over 100 milliamps standby. And I thought after that, I'd just leave the battery inserted on the way back home from Towers Mountain. And by the time we got home, my battery was fully drained and the radio was just kaput. So really interesting experiment. And I understand it doesn't affect all radios, but if your radio kind of runs out of juice after a couple hours, well, that's why. So evidently it's not all of them, but I got one of the lucky ones apparently.
Lucky you.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the things I noticed about my G7, I was coming down Summit Mountain. This is last year, and the 2-meter side of that radio was getting overloaded by the Coconino County Sheriff's radio, that transmitter that's on that hill, and I was listening to it like I was on the frequency coming down the hill.
Wow,
as I was walking down the hill on 144, 410. I'm like, what? I'm like, why? I thought I had switched the channel and looked down. I'm like, nope, I'm on 410. And clear as day, I'm hearing Coconino County Sheriff come through on there.
Wow.
All right, guys. Well, shall we open it up? Shall we open the floodgates and see if anybody wants to join us?
Sure.
Why not?
All
Let's
right.
see who's out there.
Well, I just put the link in the stream. I don't know if people can use it or find it or whatever. We'll try and see what happens. And if you guys in the chat want to pop in and say hi, or if you have a question for us or just anything, once you click that link, and we'll put you in StreamYard in the waiting room, and we'll get you in to chat with us. So let me know if that link works or not. If somebody at least needs to pop in. Let's see. I think that's covered about all I had. Did you have anything more to add for CW Academy, Brian?
I'm looking forward to it. To be honest with you, like I said, I think I'll probably be ready after this. The main reason why I wanted to do the intermediate is because I want to refine my skills. I think my copy is probably better than that, but there's a lot wrong with what I do, and I want to get it standardized with people that actually know what they're doing.
Yeah, me too.
That's the main reason for going the intermediate level as opposed to going the advanced level, because I think my copying ability is probably in the advanced level, but my operating ability is definitely in the intermediate level, and I want to improve the operating skills before I attempt to match up with the people that are in the advanced area.
Right.
You know,
right,
what I
too.
found was interesting when I took the CW Ops class is just the wide scope of people that you have a class with. You know, you've got some contesters out there, you've got some SOTA folks, you'll have some POTA folks, and then you'll have the conversationalists out there as well. And I think I learned a lot more from the conversationalists than anything else. You know, just trying to figure out, how do you keep up, and how do you keep from losing letters or words, and getting yourself lost in the conversation during a CW operation.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason I kind of am the same way with Brian. I think when it comes to like more summits on the air, I am probably advanced as far as how I can copy call signs and those 5.9s and stuff like that. But when it gets to rag chewing and listening to a long sentence, I have a problem with that. And so even at lower speeds, and so I'm looking forward to the class to help me head copy at a reasonable rate. I think both Brian and I have a strong desire to join the CW Ops Club, and the only way that you can join the club is to have a QSO with somebody at 25 words a minute, and that's not a SOTA QSO. That's like a more like a RagChew QSO, and so. This is one of the steps I'm taking to eventually reach that goal of being a member of CW Ops. Looks like no takers in the chat for the stream, unless they can't. I wonder if you can. I guess I should bring it up and see if we can actually use that link or not. Let's see, pull it up here and see. You guys in the chat, are you able to use that link at all? Let's see. And chat.
When I click it, I clicked it. It's acting like it's supposed to.
Yep, good. All right then. There we go. Bo! Bo's gonna come in. All right. You made it, Bo. For Dan and Brian, Bo and I have talked a little bit, and Bo is a POTA guy. He's mostly POTA, Parks on the Air, right, Bo?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my lighting, but hey, I'm here.
I don't know, but it's okay. The backlighting maybe is, who knows?
You're kind of silhouetted like a confidential witness, so we'll just pretend you're going to say stuff. Nobody needs to know who you are.
We'll start asking questions here.
Get the voice scrambler on, Charlie. He's going to tell us about some crazy stuff that's going on.
I know it's going to be electronic voice, right? Well, what's up, Bo? How you doing? Nope, doesn't help. So, Bo, do you have a YouTube channel, right? Or you not? Do you have one yet or not?
Not too bad. Hold on just a second. I'm actually listening on my cell phone. I'm gonna throw my cans on.
Okay. All right. Well, he's doing that. Mark W0 0 is 7T says Bravo on the CW Academy goes. I need to do something similar for the same reasons as we state. So yeah, thanks, Mark, for that comment. And there we go.
Yeah, another thing about those groups is, you get people that are oftentimes, kind of local to where you are, but you'll get some folks from other states, and it's it's very interesting to hear their perspectives and what they enjoy doing as well in radio.
Right.
Yep.
I apologize. Can you hear me better now?
VK in mine is actually.
Yeah, Bo.
Okay.
What'd you say again, Brian?
I said I have a VK in my class according to my roster, actually.
Who's your teacher?
Wow. What's this guy's name again? Hold on, let me look.
Well, where is he from? Canada or not?
No, he's from California.
Oh, we got different advisors then.
Yeah, I'm I'm Monday, Friday, I think, or Tuesday, Friday. No, Monday, Friday.
Mine's
Thursday,
Monday, Friday too. Let me just share the screen here. while we're talking about this, wow, what again? It's just like, there we go. While we're talking about it, might as well do a plug for the Long Island CW Club. Don't leave them out. We've both been in their classes as well. You have, right, Brian?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and they're, I mean, in my opinion, they're just as good as the CW Academy. They're different. They operate differently, have different philosophy, but still very good. So if you've tried the CW Academy and they didn't work for you, then maybe try the Long Island CW Club. Give them a chance to. Either one are great to learn Morse code. So there we go. All right, Bo, are you set now?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I switched over to using my headset. Like I said, the camera on this laptop is kind of crappy.
Yeah, that's strange. It's okay though.
Yeah, you sounding good.
My shack is the laundry room. If you can't tell, here's my laundry room here. I have my 857 is actually on top of my beer fridge right here. But yeah, I was saying, yeah, mostly I do POTA. I'm trying to do a SOTA run on Wednesday through Friday over at Skyline Drive, but the weather does not look like it's going to cooperate. So I'm going to wait until maybe Tuesday afternoon and figure out whether or not I'm going to go do that.
Yeah. So how many SOTA peaks do you have there where you're at? Is it limited?
Where I'm at, there are a whole bunch of nothing.
Oh, so
I actually have to drive about 4 hours to get to the nearest ridge line, if you will. And Skyline Drive is part of Shenandoah National Park. And on the 108 miles of that road, there are, I want to say there's 18 summits, and 15 of them are kind of easy-ish to get to. So I was going to try to bust out about 15 summits in 2 or 3 days.
cool. For the crowd listening, what are you carrying? Are you going light, or you just kind of taking what you got? Probably, right?
Actually, I would be carrying this big monstrosity of a bag right here,
Yeah. Okay.
which has my 891 in it, and about 50 foot of coax and an in-fed half wave, KM4 ACK in-fed half wave. And then I don't know if you saw it or not, but I just put out a video on Friday morning. I got if you could see it here, I got the Mobi Link D, which is a Bluetooth device that's hooked to my FT60 to run APRS. Instead of buying a $400 radio, I just bought a $130 attachment.
I have the 2. Brian, you have the 2 as well, right? The Mobile Link 2?
Yep, I got the 2, and that's how I run APRS in the vehicle. My phone through APRS Droid goes to the V71A via the TNC.
Yep, it's a great way to
I'm
do
using the iPhone app, and it worked pretty good the couple of times that I've tried it out, and I'm hoping to use it some more. Just hoping that there's actually some APRS coverage where I'm going.
That's always the rub, isn't it?
Right. I mean, I also have I have a Windows tablet that I'm taking with me, and I have JS8 call and FT8 on it. So if absolutely necessary, I could use the JS8 call to do some spotting. I can't quite figure out how to get the SOTA spot to work, but I can get the POTA spot to work. But also there is the 30 meters. I forget exactly what the frequency is right now, is APRS listening also. So I could just, use the phone to make the sounds go over HF and spot that way for APRS to SOTA.
Have you registered with APRS to SOTA yet?
I have, yep. And I talked to, I talked to Andy a couple of different times. I think it's Andy. I talked to the guy that runs it a couple of different times.
Yeah. Still can't figure that part out though, huh? It's tough.
Well, I can get it to excuse me. I can get it to spot over regular APRS SOTA, but I can't get it to do over JS8 call, because JS8 call has a little bit of extra steps that you have to do, and I don't think that the way that it goes through that is registered on APRS to SOTA. So I don't think it works, but I could be wrong. He did say that there was another guy that could get it to work, but I couldn't get it to work personally.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me share my screen again for you, Bo. And it's kind of strange. I have to there we go. That's your channel right there, isn't it?
Yep, that's me.
All right, cool. So, and tell us a little bit about your channel.
So I've actually been a YouTuber, if you will, for about 12 years. And I started out doing off-roading videos whenever I lived here in Virginia the first time. And then I moved to Hawaii, didn't really do anything, ended up getting my call sign, and moved to California, did some more off-roading videos. And then I did national parks on the air, and then I completely forgot about all of the portable work stuff out there. So I didn't do anything for a while. And then back in November, somehow POTA popped up, and then I did that for a bit, and then in March I started chasing SOTA, and I'm actually at like 630 chaser points, I think it is right now.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And I have 50 activator points from a 5-state run back in May. I actually talked to you on the phone on my way home from that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That was cool. So you guys probably don't know William. Like I call him Ian. I think that's what he goes by. Like you guys, he's a VK guy. Says he has 6 summits planned for this coming weekend over 3 days. So he's going to be doing a lot of driving and walking in the Australian backcountry. Good luck with that, Ian. That's pretty cool. And then we got here Android SOTA Spotter It's great if you have a smartphone with so definitely. Cool. All right, Bo. Well, Parks on the Air is your deal though, but you've been doing some SOTA and then you do off-roading. I think you got it covered, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have my Jeep anymore. I actually drive a Chevy Colorado now, but it's still four-wheel drive, and that was definitely useful on a couple of the summits that I did go and do. They were drive ups, but if I didn't have a four-wheel drive, like Brian was saying earlier, I probably wouldn't have been able to do the drive up portion and would have had to hike a couple of miles at least. But I don't mind the hike either. So
Yeah.
I recently found the subculture of hike throughs, and I'm kind of, sort of, maybe possibly at some point in the near couple of years, going to do an Appalachian Trail hike through
Ooh.
SOTA adventure.
That'd be amazing. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
But my wife told me if I did that without her, she'd be pretty salty. So
Oh, well, that's a 6 to 9 month commitment.
Oh,
with
yeah.
no work or anything. So yeah, you better take her along. She'd be lonely.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Do you have any questions or anything else for us before we drop you off?
No, I think Brian answered most of my questions. The only thing is I was looking at I have the 857 right up here, and the lowest that it can do on wattage is 5 watts. So I don't think those transverters would work too well, being blown up.
You could probably get an
Right.
attenuator. There's actually plans, if you look on the internet, you can build some attenuators, and that would help take it down some.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
And you can find a lot of those attenuators on eBay as well.
Yeah,
Really
they're not too
inexpensive.
hard, and they're fairly inexpensive. It's just something to kill the signal a little more.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, like I said in the comments earlier, I got this arrow that's on the way here, and I'm gonna try that out. Maybe get in some. Hopefully, I can get in some 2-meter sideband here locally at the house, and then maybe I'll progress over to that area of transverters and stuff of that sort.
Okay. Cool.
But
Look forward to
I
that.
mostly just joined because I wanted to say thank you for y'all's live streams that y'all do. I try to be here live, in the watching part of it as much as I can. But if not, I definitely do team replay. I actually talked to Joe on Facebook for the 40K run that he was doing over the weekend. I talked to him a couple of times on Facebook about that.
All right. Yeah. You know what? Well, we appreciate you being here and for your support as well. Thank you. And thanks for popping in real quick and helping us out.
Yeah, no worries, Charlie.
Okay. Catch you later.
All righty. See y'all later.
Bye. All right, guys. Well, I think it's about time to wrap it up here. Any parting thoughts before I wrap it up and let everybody know where they're going next?
Got some breaking news out of the Coconino National Forest. Apparently, there's a guy with a knife running around on the Mount Eldon Trail confronting people.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, nice.
Breaking
Yeah.
news. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, 140 pounds, 6 feet tall. The Flagstaff police are actively looking for him.
Well, but he better
Great.
hide.
Well, I know we've had a lot of rain and stuff out here in Arizona, which has calmed down the situations with the fires, which is great. So there's a lot more folks heading out to the national forest and hitting some SOTA summits, which is really nice to see.
Agreed. All right, guys. Well, for those of you watching, Jason, I believe, has a live stream right after us. So it's probably getting ready to get fired up here probably in about a minute or so. So I appreciate you guys being here with us in the chat, and those of you who watch later. So with that, I'm just going to say 73, and thanks for joining us. We'll catch you in 2 weeks again. 4 o'clock on Sunday is when we do it. So 73, everybody.
73.
7-3.